And guys, my comments are also open. Okay, I can see Abhishek. Hi, Abhishek. Am I audible?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, finally.
Yeah.
No issues, no issues. We are
First of all,
teachers.
I'm really sorry for the delay.
No problem. Twitter glitches often cause such kind of issues. Anyways, welcome to the spaces, Abhishek. So, for our audience, let me take a moment to introduce him. So, he is heading research at Arihant Capital, and he has been into market from a long time. And by education, he's an MBA in finance, and he also has a very strong business development managerial skills. And he caters to equity research, portfolio management, investment. I mean, the Arihant Capital, of course, investment banking, technical analysis, and equities. So, Abhishek, a very warm welcome. Just in case I misread or maybe missed out on anything in the introduction part, I would request you to start with that, and then we move on to market outlook, and then further set of questions. Yeah, over to you,
Yeah.
Abhishek.
So thank you, Prince, for inviting me in your inviting me in your weekly or regular calls. I have attended a lot of them, and it's a good learning. So first of all, I apologize everyone for being delaying on this particular space due to some technical issues. Uh, I work with Arihant Capital and have decent experience of 17, 18 years in equity markets. Right now, look after the institution, PCG, and retail desk of Arihant Capital. And that is a small brief about me. Uh, how you want to take it, Prince? You can talk and we can take it forward. I am open with it.
Great. So, Abhishek, we start with the market outlook. So, at a current point in time, how you are seeing the market and how you are placing yourself, and then we move on to further questions related to the framework which you use and the questions around different sectors.
So my view right now, like on the business, I can talk about two important things right now. On the business side, we are in a very good hand right now. I personally think I have attended close to 100 factories in last 1 year, and everyone is talking about uh, everyone is positive, never been so positive in terms with India manufacturing right now. I personally think it is just an inflection point at this point of time. Business wise, I am very positive. I see big opportunity. I see opportunity in Indian manufacturing at this point of time. Once and what most important, what I've been talking to various institution investors also, the feedback which I'm getting right now, the most important change which we have seen in last 10 years is like the stability at this point of time. So when I about stability at this point of time, I can talk about like when you talk about any country right now, don't have like when you have a certain economy size, don't have this kind of stability we are seeing in India at this point of time. Also, uh, globally has been the never been such kind of respect. Like I've been talking to my relatives and when I'm travel outside also, never been such kind of respect we haven't received. I personally think in last 30, 40 years, whatever I have read, uh, India is just we are arriving and we are arriving with a bang. That's what I can say. Uh, Earlier. And this is more collective we are seeing a lot of SME companies, like I'm just talking to we do IPOs and fundraising, and so everyone wants to be the next big thing in the market. Everyone has a vision of 5 to 10 years, which we I haven't seen just a few years back when I was talking to them right now. And they understand a lot of things are happening in a very positive direction. Our consumer geography is doing very well for us right now. I think 80 to 90% of people, or maybe 95% of people have, like I can talk to right now, they've been spending money. They've been, because obviously they are spending money, maybe at least 2 to 3x what they used to do it a few years back. And I can say across across the uh, demographies. It's not specific to one particular demography or is there right now. Business wise, we are. We are in a very good space right now, and I think now I'll talk about the market side right now. Market, we have seen a rally, and a lot of people are talking about right now. I personally think uh, you have to be now next 2 3 years in the market. Money making may not be that easy. What we are talking about, you have to be very selective, and there will be some gray ships or also will come out, black ships or will also come out with in these rallies. So as an investor, one need to be very cautious. I'm not negative, but while doing research and while investing in companies, because we are actually investors, we the companies will do well, but market is and I think some of the sectors I am very positive, but just for this thing, for our PCG advisory, we are doing it right now. We have advised our clients to increase our cash allocation at this point of time, especially on the mid cap side.
Abhishek, so what I can read from your opening note is like you're talking about that we have to be very company specific and bottoms up approach in that sense. So broadly, like of course that is well taken, and across the industry, this is normally being heard that people are keeping or keeping or maybe going in some cash so that they assume that there is some growth in the market, and going forward if there is correction, though there has to be some cash at hand. But again, any select pockets which you are specifically seeing that the trend has just started, and despite the valuation part in the broader market, those pockets still appear to be lucrative.
So I personally think, like as I said right now, like there are Indian consumption stories right now. Travel and tourism is one space right now. Indian manufacturing, capital goods, the story has just started playing out. Market has discounted right now. I'm not saying if someone has a view of 4 year or 5 years, definitely you have to be with the leaders, and some of the mid caps are still. If you take a 3 year, 4 year view, right now should be in the market right now. You cannot be isolated, but you, if a fresh investor is coming right now, so you should only put 30 to 40% of your capital which you wanted to put, and you need to have a 2 year, at least 2 year horizon view which should be there in the while investing in the market.
So, Abhishek, you're saying somebody who's coming fresh, or maybe the fresh capital. So, keeping, I mean, I mean, broadly, your view is to invest 30-40% out of that portion. So, meaning, uh, what would be your
Okay,
advice on that
so
front? I mean,
so
keeping
Prince,
cash
what
is.
happened, like when we have seen a lot of investors. I am not saying, like I'm just giving an example of L&T right now, or any other companies, any other capex stories. 3 year visibility very strong, but as a new investor who is coming down right now and he is finding 20% decline for whatever the reasons we have seen right now, if anything happen, normal profit booking also happen, and so people will get panic. So I that's why I'm saying you one need to start adding in tranches. March has been, because of various adjustments and other things right now, has not been benign for small cap mid cap. I'm not saying it will happen this year also, but let's and you have to, like I am. We are right now. We are looking for opportunities in chemical space, agrichem space. We think uh, maybe 2 years. If you have something 2 year kind of horizon, there are companies are there. There are some of the consumption companies where, like I'm just consumer durable companies where the opportunities are there right now. So opportunities are unlimited, but be selective.
Fair point, Abhishek. So you just talked about chemicals. So if the con calls or the interactions with the management across the board, they are of the view. I mean, if we go 2 quarters back, so people had a similar opinion that this appears to be a bottom for most of the chemical companies. But 2 quarters down the line, the commentary is more or less that it will further take 2 3 more quarters. So any thoughts around that? And specifically, you talked about agrichem. Any other pockets in chemical which you feel like have bottomed out, or maybe a good time to add?
So, Prince, we have seen in the past also market has bottomed. I'm just giving an example. Our economy has bottomed out maybe in the Q3 or Q2 of in FY21, while the market has bottomed out in March only. So, my point which I am making here right now, market will give you a hint. Okay, there are things will, like, obviously I believe 2 to 3 quarters are there right now for a lot of chemical companies, and earnings still the valuations are not cheap because I am not talking about the valuations which we have seen in the during the COVID time. I am believe as an investor while investing a bottom out also. I believe in margin of safety, but then we have to look at the companies with the horizon. You can start adding in tranches. I'm just giving an example. I met a interesting company which I am working right now. They have done a massive capex of TiO2, and India is largely imported driven for titanium dioxide. I think big numbers are going to come down. I met one one liquor and company based out of Indore right now, and these guys are have completed the ENA based facility just right now only. This will actually will increase the, like, revenue will at least increase by 35 to 40% next year, and there's a visibility is there. I met one company which is based out of recently in Indore. These guys have all. There's a very small company has a waiting period. It's a competitor of Jyoti CNC, or they are in same kind of business, has a waiting period of 1 year. So I think there are opportunities are there, and but if anyone is investing also, take a 2 year or 3 year view rather than looking at uh, maybe taking a easy money making. May I don't think so. Okay, after maybe after election, you are going to see some kind of consolidation in the market if it's not right now. So let's be focused and be stock specific, and sectors also, like I'm just saying chemical which I are talking about right now. Chemical, the pain will remain for 2 more quarters, but uh, there are companies have done the capex, and some benefits you are going to see substantially whenever it's going to come down. So those and you cannot see those kind of margins which you have seen in the FY20 or 21, the early COVID period, or maybe 22. Those margins may not be done, but a stability in terms of the decline will be over, and some of the companies will do. One thing which you need to understand, like a lot of Indian companies have developed economy of scale, and whenever it's happened, initially you say because the demand never go uh, L shape recovery, or maybe I recovery right now. It's always W. So you always get an opportunities there right now. So I think there are aggregate space. I think maybe a 2 quarter or 2 quarters down the line, but eventually the demand is going to be come back. The channel inventories. I met one of the company, Tata Group company, which is an aggregate space recently, and the management after 3 years has been positive. So, and they've been conservative for last 2.5 years. So it's a good beat time to be there. Add in tranches. So that's what I'm saying.
Right, Abhishek. So, Abhishek, you talked about the CNC space. Obviously, naming any company is not required, but again, CNC as a space, do you believe that valuations are anyway near to comfort zone, because those companies had done pretty well, and seeing their earnings at this point in time, so the valuation appeared to be very on the higher side. So how you see the whole CNC space and how it can evolve going forward?
So it's a part of Indian manufacturing right now. The CNC, like the company recently got listed right now, which the market is excited about right now. They are talking about Apple manufacturing. They'll be supplying it to Apple when going forward, and it's a very large opportunity for them right now. So I'm saying the valuations. Obviously, you're not going to get it anything cheap. And India being the problem with Indian market is right now is liquidity is also in most of the stocks. When you make comparison with the global peers right now, it's still lower right now. So when you see one buyer coming out and started buying India right now, you think right now FIs are not buying in India right now. Everyone is waiting on sideline ki okay, but eventually they have to buy. I'm not saying it may be a part of their global allocation, but whenever it's going to happen right now, this is going to be a big, big opportunity for India.
Right, Abhishek. And Abhishek, on the energy and power space, what you are looking or seeing in the space, any developments which you believe, because most of the stories appear to be very forward looking, and if the order books are there, but again, the things on ground as on today doesn't appear to be very promising. So, what's your view around that?
Uh, so power sector, I think it's things are improving. It's not like this. Ki things are not improving right now. When you talk about companies right now, there are changes are happening right now at a very and energy transition especially is happening at this point of time. So India, as per se, is doing things which is working in the right direction. Maybe the kind of backlog we are having right now, the government has already talked about, like I see in renewable spaces right now, the government has already talked about 500 gigawatt target by 2030, and that require lot of support from the government itself only right now. And we have like one thing which I personally think the biggest risk in lot of these businesses is right now the people are is the government itself only, like the regulations right now. Like I'm just giving an example. Now in sugar space, the government has come out with the changes in regulation for molasses, sorry, ethanol, and those things have hurt the sentiment for the overall sector itself only right now. So this is something which I think the government need to provide a stable support for if you want to reach the targets which we are doing it right now. But the demand scenario has been growing right now. The demand is going to come down from the traditional sources also, and plus the EVs and other things also. So I think that's the market, the power sector, some of the reforms I'm seeing now. The government has made the changes in the uh, some of the uh, power exchanges, state power SEBs procuring money, procuring electricity, and the payments scenario for this SEBs have also changed considerably in last what it used to be 4 5 years back or 10 years back. So things are moving out and things are changing in the right direction. I'm just giving an example. Uttar Pradesh is a one state which I closely follow right now, and almost I remember I am talking to like the companies there right now. They used to have 12 to 8 to 6 to 12 hours electricity issues during the summers are there right now, prior to 2017. And now I talk to them, there are hardly 1 hour or anything is there. Some of the areas 24-hour electricity is there right now. So things are improving in a very right direction, and they have not given the freebies culture has been apart from the some of the states which are obviously which is a known thing. The freebie culture has been right now has not been promoted by the government, which is also a good positive indicator which is happening right now at this point of time.
Right, Abhishek. So we got few speakers. We'll take your questions and then I'll come again. So we start with the Gaurav first. Gaurav, you can unmute and ask your question. And one small request for our speakers: please maintain that no direct buy sell recommendation being asked on any names. Your question has to be relevant. Yeah, Gaurav, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Prince. Thank you, Abhishek, for the opportunity. So one is I joined this a bit late, so wanted to check the latest direction from MP on the small caps, wherein the direction is to limit the incremental flows to this particular category. So how are these mutual fund managers taking this thing? What do you think the impact of this direction on the small caps, particularly and in the micro caps? And do you see any similarity between what happened in 2018 versus what is happening in the last week?
Uh, I think 2018 scenario was quite different to what it was right now, and the churn or maybe the number of interest, like the investments in, if you see as a percentage for the investors right now in the mid cap and smaller funds are much higher than what it is right now, and the market is much more regulated. Second important thing, the margins and all this thing. If you talk about right now, I'm talking about the impact on even for the retail investor. What happened a lot of times, we have seen some of the small cap, mid caps, when anyone try to get an exit or so a lot of margin related issues are there. So this is one positive which the CB has done it very well in
Hmm.
last few years. So I don't think so any short term, maybe some of the scripts or maybe there's some impact can be there, but I don't think so this is there right now.
Hmm.
And the obviously the investment frenzy which we have seen, especially in the retailers, especially on the retailers, I am not disrespecting any of them. They have, everyone has their own investment philosophy, but it's a good thing right now to protect some of the investors, because a long term I personally think it will work very good well right now.
Hmm.
And this is like, this is a framework which they have come out with. MFs are now, like MF has asked already, KSABS to there should be a policy for protection of interest of investors in mid cap and smaller funds right now. So that is good right now. Now the daily basis you are getting, like some of the funds are talking about the stocks which they are owning and all this thing right now, the impact they are doing. So this is a good thing right now. You, rather than, I'm saying, and they are also putting a cap on lump sum or this thing right now. So which I think at these valuations, obviously that's, it's a good taking a risk parameter, or taking the risk in the system. If you manage those risk in the, maybe a small on the protect of some small cap, some momentum, lose in momentum, I don't think so anything wrong in this thing right now.
Okay,
Okay,
okay. Thank
okay.
you.
Thank
And
you. And
your views
your
on textile, if you have not shared yet, because
which
there is
one?
one textile sector,
So
maybe the
I'll tell you
yarn.
one thing. Like we've been positive on a lot of textile names. I can tell you about the companies which are in coverage right now. So I don't have an issue in talking about the stocks which are in coverage. So, like the companies which were in coverage right now, what we used to do, we regularly chat. What the, like one parameter which we think right now we track is the US retail numbers. And as of now, the US retail has been decent right now. Even last 2 years, 1 years, like the numbers are quite good at this point of time. And second important thing, what is happening, that inflation is coming down, especially in last 8 9 months, especially on the cotton and other yarns. So which is actually the, which we heard about during the COVID time, China plus one, or maybe something is happening. I'm not saying we are gaining everything, but that is happening, and everyone wants to be, have a supplier, if not India, but maybe in Vietnam. Now the Indian companies are also there in Vietnam and Bangladesh. So I don't think so if, because of the labor or cost parities. But this is happening textile sector. Like when you talk about channel inventories, when you talk to the companies right now, things are happening. Like I'm just giving an example. Like our textile company we cover right now, it's almost working at 95% uh,
Hmm.
capacity
Hmm.
at this point
Okay.
of time. So things like and US, like main key parameter is US only right now for Indian market, because of certain benefits to some of the other. uh, countries in Europe. So India has not a substantial market share in Europe, but that also we are talking about some FTAs and other things right now, which should augur well for the India itself only. But US market has been right now has been strong, and we are in a very sweet spot.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay. Thank
Great.
you so
Thank you
much.
so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you, Gaurav. And Vipin Gupta ji has also joined as a co-host. So, sir, as and when you have any question, please feel free to jump in and we can have questions. So, meanwhile, let me call Ajay and then we move on to next speaker. Yeah, Ajay, quickly.
Hey guys, it's nice to see all of the experienced investors here. I am a small time investor and trader, and I look for opportunities mostly in small cap and nano caps. So my question to all the speakers uh, is that recently we have seen there has been always a lot of skepticism about the froth building up and corporate governance, but in the last 2 3 weeks we have seen kind of like every week these little if I could use investigations slash allegedly like scams in companies like vmark or the Dubai based Zenith trade that has a big amount of stake in Gensol and Servotech. So my question is like, how confident are we at this point in time that all these SMEs that have been allowed to list, like they're following some sort of compliance and corporate governance practices, like they're raising funds every other month. Some news or the other is coming very, uh, you know, uh, like bullish statements that we are going to reach such revenues and stuff like that. So some of us are Abhishek is into advice.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I by mistake I muted. You can sorry.
Oh, was I mute from
Beginning
the
or no, no,
beginning
no, no.
or
Few seconds, few seconds. Yeah, go ahead.
then I think I made my question. So
So,
yeah.
can I answer, Prince? Yeah, anyone wants to
Wants to
answer?
answer? Yeah, Abhishek, you can go ahead, please.
Okay, so Ajay, I this is my thought process. SME is an excellent platform, and I'm talking to the companies, they are talking globals right now. For them, the capital raising, it is actually giving a platform to give them a capital equity kind of platform at this point of time. But there is lot of froth in the system right now. There are companies, they are talking about 25-30% growth. I don't want to name the company, but there's a company I met few months back, and the stock price was at whatever the level was there right now. I've asked him certain questions. Initially, he answered few of them, and he was not clear on the answer side. But then eventually, he said, "You don't look at why you are asking so many things. The my stock price will become 3x from here, and the stock price has already become 2x from those levels." So my point is basically the Dubai based and which you are talking about right now. I think one need to understand the those investors, and while we are because those investors actually invest in uh, uh, have been certain kind of you'll see a pattern of investing in their stocks. They've been doing raising money via preferential and their whatever is there right now, and that need to be, I think, this if this is happening right now, so we need to have a like we are like almost completely out, or we are holding some small SME. We are completely out from SMEs right now. We don't understand anything 90 100 200 p's of the world right now. If you ask me anything, I may be wrong, but I have written about the company Gensol also, just 3 days back to our investors also. uh, and we was cautious. This is prior to the whole thing comes out, but point I am saying, let's market need to be very cautious, understand valuations. Everyone talk, which promoter is not going to say कि भाई my 3 साल बाद मेरा, everyone is talking about now. Most of the promoters are actually trained by their IRs or IR and uh, before interacting with the market guys, so they know what need to be told, what market is there right now. And sometimes uh, the investors become so excited right now if the promoter or if that company is talking about 20% growth, and they'll say, okay, why can't we do 50% growth or something. And this is something very crazy scenario. That's why I'm saying you have to be very selective. Small cap need to be understand right now. Like, people are talking about small cap should get a higher valuation. I personally think, historically, if I see right now, apart from few companies, unless you have done your very well research, most of the companies, like, I'm just giving an example, a large caps have seen across the cycle, while small cap are some of the companies right now have just started, maybe the incorporated 2 or 3 years back only, or even 5 years, and they've seen those kind of. And you've seen a lot of companies, when you read the balance sheet also for those companies, you'll see the numbers. You've seen a certain margin expansion in once in a year right now, just a year prior to the IPO. So those numbers, you have to be like, as in, like, either you have to read when you are investing in those stocks, take out what kind of investors are there right now. And obviously, because it's our money, we have to take care. And those safeguards need to be followed right now. Maybe you may think in next quarter, next 1 month, or next 3 months, your friend or your neighbor must be making more money than you, but let it go. I personally think, I would be, as an investor, I am ready to let go. And I've been advising, I am right now, we have just I've been telling our advisor, okay, we think this can be an right now, this can let be very, this thing, the money is ours only right now, and we need to, because lot of whenever one or two institution investors, or maybe those names, will get an exit right now, so the liquidity dried up completely in lot of stocks. Right now you are getting a 50,000 volume, or maybe those volumes will come down to, let's say, 1200 or 1000 shares. And if you are holding large amount of share, how will you exit right now? So be very, very, very cautious while investing. I'm not saying ki this is there, ki everyone is a chore or something like this, but need to take care of those people. Check out the industry, if they raising money right now. So find out which are the investors, those are the involved right now. They will right now, there are a lot of 100 funds are there, which are every the fundraising is the easiest thing to make money. There are companies which are the stock price at 100, and they are raising 50 or 60. So everyone is in a rush ki why they want to make fast gains. But 1 year down the line, when you see those companies, who is going to buy those companies, that is also important right now. So need view is especially in the SME, in the small cap, need to be very cautious.
All right. All right.
So,
So,
I
hello,
hello Prince, Abhishek,
hi,
Ajay.
sir.
Ajay and Abhishek was talking about Gensol. Can anybody take up and elaborate what happens with the Gensol with regards to corporate governance, please?
I actually, Vipinji, like, there are things, it's not our coverage stock, but there are some. I can talk about, like, what we have covered in our report. So I'm just giving an example. The company has been talking about big numbers to be sold whenever the car is launched. While the right now the company is going to be largely in leasing business, even if they are going to launch a car or a cargo vehicle in next. They have talked about the numbers right now they are having right now. So those numbers, either because leasing is something which they'll be doing it to their group company only, which is in cab aggregator or cab service. Apart from this thing, our view is basically no one is going to buy a 10 lakh rupees car, or 50, maybe whatever the price they are going to launch it. Because selling a two wheeler in this segment is quite different from a bike, selling a car. And a lot of other things have been covered in, like, I can send you a report which has been covered by our forensic team. I'll send you those report.
Yes, please.
cash flows and all.
It would be my pleasure to have a hands-on on that report. So thank you very much for that. And
Sure, we'll do
Ajay,
that.
your view is different with Ajay. Oh, sorry, Abhishek,
नहीं
or something.
नहीं विपिन विपिन सर सबसे पहले तो आपको प्रणाम the view
Namaste.
was not specifically on Gensol but basically abhi I think you must have also heard this illegal betting guy like Tibrewal. So he has an FPI registered in the name of Zenith Multi Trading और इसका लगभग 600 करोड़ का होल्डिंग है जिस विच इज मोर और लेस इक्वली स्प्लिट बिटवीन सर्वोटेक
Ajay, Ajay,
जेंसोल
Ajay,
कृतिका
Ajay,
या
sorry to disturb you, sorry to but वो 600 crore नहीं है, number is quite big. और 600 crore is the one of the entity which they are owning right now. They work in,
या आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट जेनिथ ओनली
this can be
देयर
very
आर
big
टू
number.
मोर आई थिंक बट
This can be very big. I'm
या
saying you it will be 4
बट
to 5,000 crore. Second important,
या बट माय
if you want to check this
yes
thing,
let me just finish
yeah,
this for Vipin ji.
yeah, sure.
So my take wasn't on Gensol per se, but the amount of such potentially like illegal funds being parked into small companies and like companies that have grown from smaller caps or nano caps to perhaps like 1,000, 3,000, 4,000 crore market cap. So वहां पे अगर investigations आना शुरू होता है, God forbid, not necessarily in case of Gensol, but let's say some promoters have also been found to be doing like dubious stuff like VMark. That was again a Dubai-based investigation. So, उस case में, I was just trying to paint a picture that corporate governance has always been an issue in smaller caps, but now it seems like a nightmare sort of like taking a real form. So that's what I just wanted to understand from Abhishek. No negative views on Gensol per se, like personally.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you,
thank you.
thank you,
Thank you,
Ajay.
Ajay.
And I request Abhishek to put forward the report to Prince or to us. I don't know whether you are connected to us
To us,
through some
Yeah, Vipin ji,
through some
I'll
do
connect
some
WhatsApp.
with him and see if there would be any possibility on that. I will be happy to. So, Vipin sir, any or more question on your part, or shall we
No,
move to Amit?
yeah, move forward, please.
Yeah, Amit, you have been waiting since long. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prince. Abhishek, one of your point which you which you brought forward is like we are good with U.S. market, but my concern here is U.S. market is not doing good. As you know, Jerome Powell has given out a statement recently, and today in this month again we'll see a report. But according to him, the inflation 2% to bring it down in U.S. it's impossible. My the whole concern here is with yes, as the governance and other the what we have here with corruption, it makes very difficult for us to trust small caps and what is happening. So let me bring one positive point. I want to know what is your opinion and point of view in the chipsets, which I heard today. I think from the Tata Electronics and Private Limited, where I think Indian government has established within 100 days within Gujarat and Assam around $20 billion worth of money of investment. So do you see any that is a good investment that we can take a look, and what are other companies in from the chipset point of view that in future we can expect from not just from the Tata Electronic Private Limited or Tata Semiconductors Assembly, that's a TSAT, and from the CG Power. Like, do we have any other more potential companies are getting invested, because here Indian government is directly involved directly with these companies, and when it comes to investment like $20 billion investments, I would like to see somewhere going to for 200 to $500 billion investment from Indian government in these chipsets to make ourselves more self-reliant. Thank you. That's my question.
So I agree, sir. There are companies which are going to be benefited in the chip side right now, but $20 billion investment is very limited to a certain set of companies only, maybe Tata or maybe few other companies, and obviously they are not going to do in one tranche right now. Or they are going to, like, initially they'll be starting with assembling or going forward, and then they eventually getting into the more which is fab manufacturing at some point of time in next 3 years right now. So people are talking about, and I think this will be a big game changer. So companies which are doing the raw material side obviously will be having a certain advantage, which has been like supplying to those companies. But right now there is no clarity which company is going to do. It's still in and very nascent stage at this point of time. So why to? I'm saying, like, if let's say Vedanta comes up right now, I don't see anyone in the listed company apart from Vedanta has talked about. All they come out and do such a large, for them also doing the such a large investment is at current scenario is uh, giving their debt on books right now will be very challenging. But I think then you have to keep a tab on which are the suppliers are there and who will be the benefited at whenever it's going to happen. Because anything which, because right now if Micron is coming and Micron is investing, so initially they'll be starting with doing the assembling part, and then they eventually going to the manufacturing right now, or maybe any other companies coming right now. And because like the China, there's one advantage is there, China is having the raw material advantage also right now. So one thing is very clear as per my understanding, keep an eyes open right now, and whenever you get an opportunity, be there. But as of now, I don't think any company, I'm very cautious. There are a lot of small fab aggregators, or they are doing it for last 50 years and 20 years. The stock has become 30x 40x because of these news, which have no competitive advantage. So I personally think at this point of time, I don't find companies which are there which are going to be directly benefited. Maybe some of the technology, or maybe like in the, but that is a very small portion of overall is there right now. Auto, like Tata Motors is one company where I think people are talking about, but eventually they are the user will be indirectly benefited, not the directly manufacturing side. Chip manufacturing, $20 billion, the investment is required, initial investments. Hmm. So I am not at this point of time not a clear on, and technology wise also we are not which technology is like is going to be used and how exactly is going to be procured and what are the benefits are there right now.
Right, Abhishek. So next in line is Dr. Nikesh.
Yeah, hello everyone, and thanks for the opportunity. I wanted to speak about this whole episode about like this Zenith thing. So the thing is that any FPI having buying the stocks, I think it's nowhere in the control of the company, right? So I mean it's like a company in the beginning, a company don't know like what they do. This is the part of the government entity, like what they do, right? I mean, any company listed, any listed, or let's say doing some not listed but any such kind of trading company is there, and they are keen to buy, and they already have other stocks, other company in their portfolio. So I think it's pretty normal. I mean, why, like, what I feel that unnecessarily damaging good companies, because as a retail investor we should, like, when we buy business we should also buy the promoters vision and company's vision, then only we can make a good money, right? If I mean as far I studied Gensol, it's really great
And this
management,
guy
and
is
this guy
doing
is doing
निकेश भाई
really, really.
स्पेसिफिकली क्वेश्चन पूछो यार, कंपनीज पे डिस्कशन जितना अवॉइड हो सके प्लीज अवॉइड करें ना.
So basically, okay, maybe so the question would be like that as a retail investor, should we ignore such kind of news, because eventually if the stocks becomes, because there is so much potential these companies have. I mean, some of the companies are really really good, in among five of there are five companies are there. So like the question is, like as a retail investor, shall we ignore these noises because they eventually will not help um, in a long term. So I mean, what retail investor should do? Maybe you can bring some light on this, like on the action related to the retail, what they should do, please.
I have an example quickly I wanted to tell. Please take a look at Lucid Motors. Okay. Lucid Motors in the New York Stock Exchange, it came, had a lot of expectation actually. Competitors of Tesla. But what happened? They backlogged on they constructed their infrastructure, everything happened, but they couldn't deliver as promised. And it was a higher end cars actually. It started with 80K to 120 to 150K. They promised, and they had a very good battery electric car which gave around 515 miles per charge. But still the stock went back to the $8. It went almost to 64. Imagine, from 64 it gone back to $8. Take a look. Any time investing in car companies, electric companies, there are a lot of companies which comes up, but do not go based on what they tell. Look at exactly what are they delivering. You need to understand where are their units, how, exactly, what are the promises they're delivering, and exactly what is the quality control and everything. Take a look into, I mean, all the factors, and then decide what are their what they are giving, in the sense like, in next 2 years are we going to deliver the car, in the next 3 years are we going to deliver the car. You need to look all those things, and their sales. So that is a very long term, but it's a very speculative to invest in such a small companies where you should look at what battery technology. I mean, what battery are they using? Solid state battery, or what kind of battery are they're incorporating? What is the design? Will the Indian market appreciate about the design? All those things. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Abhishek, over to you.
Agree with Wall Street. I'm not sorry. I don't. Name is not there. I'm extremely sorry, sir. But my point is, I agree with what sir is saying. One need to understand. That's why I'm saying ki who is going to stop that. Now the stock has become 20x. The promoter is aware ki what exactly everyone is talking about. If you ask me, also, like any investor, they are not going to talk about ki now the business is not going to. No one is going to talk about the challenges at what they are doing right now. And my only thing is very simple. When I am not talking about the industry right now, what exactly is the moat in the company is having. And uh, and for a EV company, I personally think there are a lot of differentiation is there apart from the technology. One more important thing, after sales services, distribution. There are a lot of companies. I'm just giving an example. I'm not taking. There's one prominent two-wheeler company, uh, one ICD engine company. Now they get into the EV side of two wheeler, become initially quite successful, and then they got some Saudi investor, UAE investor, putting money in the company. The stock is available at almost the EV investment they have done it in 3 years back right now. So delivery is very challenging. Obviously, if you want an investor, these companies should not be more than 10 to 15% of your portfolio, and that should be also in 3 4 uh, thing is there right now. And I won't agree with this fact. Believe me, like 90% of the time in the small caps, the promoter involvement with these guys are not there. And this 600 crore, I this can be a very big number. There is no one works in single in this thing. There is not is there right now. So I am very cautious in investing in those companies unless I work with those companies and I have a complete faith in those things. And I would avoid investing in those companies. There are 5,000 different companies are there. Why to invest in those companies only?
Right, Abhishek. So we are yet to ask anything around sustainability. So Ravi is the best person to keep a small view and then ask question. So Ravi, if you're free, please feel free to ask question to Abhishek. Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prince, and thank you, Abhishek. I think it's quite an interesting place where we are, right? I mean, 2 days ago, I was contacted by a very interesting person here in US and really wanted to understand, what is the sustainability journey in India, and maybe you have some more insights. Uh, the question I really have, is about this Jammu and Rajasthan discovery of lithium. So, are you following what's happening to those deposits? Have they been, has the auction happened, or what is happening with the production? Is India looking into creating more, manufacturing plants and so with lithium because that's going to be very critical for the sustainability piece in the EV sector, right? And then second, I think one big wave is this whole solar, right? And this solar rooftop opportunity is mega because the world really sees China as leading on the solar cell production, and it's been exporting to every part of the world. I know there is a plant in Chennai which is really coming up as a competition to China and really looking at the spike in the solar, mainly because of the low pricing. But I think a lot of technology and imports are still happening from China. So I just wanted to know that, for the last 2 years, we having a lot of, noise around shift, as you said, on sustainability and on the renewable energy sector. Do you see any companies other than Reliance and some others investing big time into this? And the last one is related to green hydrogen. I think green hydrogen is really picking up even bigger, becoming bigger day by day. So, do you see anything, any clear industries? I know Avada Group is doing some work. I know Vineet is doing some work. Do you see that becoming mainstream? Because on the EV part, I think you go back to the Tesla story right here in US. Nobody really believed that Tesla would happen, right? And now you see last year Tesla was the number one selling car in America. I don't want to say that in the same market. They're two very different kind of markets, but definitely I feel the mix of sustainability opportunity in India is far greater than USA because there's much more consciousness. Here we keep fighting climate deniers, but I also agree with you that this has to be very thoughtful. It has to be like really based on your understanding. Really, there's a lot of different plays happening, but really wanted to hear again from you, Abhishek. Any points on that?
So my like the lithium thing. Let's start with your lithium thing right now. So lithium, the government, as per the this thing, the government has been talking to give it Nalco or something to do the exploration space, but it's not going to start it in like right now. It's going to take 3 4 5 years at least at this point of time to get some kind of output in next few years right now. It's and companies need to invest large amount of investments, uh, especially on the lithium side also. Plus, uh, it's not only lithium which has been used in the battery pack, and the technology has been evolving every day right now. So I'm just giving an example, like a lot of electric vehicles, as per my understanding, the lithium mines have a lot of ESG related issues are there right now in terms of which is there, which is fine with when you're in China or a Chile. In India, how much is going to work on that need to be taken care, because we have seen a lot of instances are there right now. The impact of environment has not been cleared at this point of time, because whatever I read is right now the China commands a large amount of this thing, this particular industry, or maybe Chile. There are two biggest countries which are having lithium mines, and where the it's more government control, which is not possible in India at this point of time. And obviously, there will be certain issues. You are going to see it, and how much, what will be the cost advantage they'll be having, because having an output, having the reserve, and having the cost, which is going to be beneficial for the battery companies after 5 years down the line, that also need to be understood. So I think and it's not only lithium as per my, because whatever I have read, it's a lot of other things like cobalt is there, and other stuffs are also used. And so where again the China is the largest player, they have end to end. Initially for us, like for at this point of time only lithium has been found. So need to understand what is the benefit and what how is going to be. The benefits are going to be there, but it will take time. And I hope the technology, it should work with the lithium, because a lot of lithium substitutions also we've been reading in quite some for last few years. Green hydrogen looks very interesting. It's a very niche space right now at this point of time, but it's green hydrogen also the technology wise is in India at this point of time. Yeah, globally, the India is talking about 5 million metric ton per annum, and which will basically which will reduce or maybe replicate our imports of 1 lakh crore going forward. But the technology again, my like in the listed space, I there are one or two companies are there, MNCs are there, rest or maybe the Reliance is talking about, and those numbers are
And
there.
and Adani is also doing some work.
Adani and Reliance. I'm saying the large players are there right now.
Yeah.
My point is, the point is, need to keep an eye on those things right now. I'll be more than happy investing in these companies rather than in some unknown company which have no, which don't have capital, because you need huge capital requirement while to be successful in these kind of investments and continuous supply. So, or maybe some of the companies in the government companies which will be given access to those mines, but it's a very long play right now. Right,
Yeah,
right now
yeah.
it's
Thank
in
you.
very nascent stage.
Yeah, Abhishek, thank you very much, because I think that's the whole idea, like completely from a long term perspective, really, for people are in the long run. I think it'll be interesting before we even do any recommendation to really see how the evolution of maybe we can do a space with how China evolved over the last 2 decades into the space, and also look at the American market. Maybe I'll see if we can look at some bring some interesting panel to look at those two market, probably pull in somebody from Hong Kong and pull in somebody from here and really do a comparison. But
I
I did,
I know
sorry,
someone in the Linde. I'll talk to them.
yes.
So I will see what exactly, if, because they need to take approval from in
Oh
their
my God.
company. If they are fine, if they are fine with, I'll ask them. Okay.
There's a very interesting interview. I'll try to pin that if I can find it. There's an interview of MBS from Saudi Arabia right after his visit after G20, where he stayed on, if you remember. And he talked about this IMEC corridor, and many people talk about the Israeli war linked to that. But the fact that in his interview he said by year 2050, you know, India will become the biggest exporter of green hydrogen through Saudi Arabia into Israel, Greece. And if you remember, one day before G20, Modi ji went to Greece just for a day, just to get that final, movement. So it was going to be from the ports in Gujarat to Saudi, Israel, Greece, and then into Europe. So definitely we are looking at some interesting piece, but it has to be done very wisely. And like you said, just cannot just invest in anybody who's just coming up. There is, I think, Renew Group in Gurgaon. They've been doing some interesting work in this area also. But we are not making any recommendation, but just to say it is very important to really analyze all aspects before you even we think of investing. Thank you so much. Excellent points, Abhishek. And I pinned my pinned my Vion article if anybody wants to look at the lithium, so you can read that, or I just pinned that here.
Thanks, Ravi. So we have in line Sai Charan. So Sai Charan, you can unmute and quickly ask your question.
Hi Abhishek, I have two questions. One question is cryptos. Recently, there is an ETF approval in USA. So after that, there is I see moving forward in the next 1 2 years. I also see mutual funds starting Bitcoin ETF in India. So what do you think about cryptos? This is my first question. Second question is pharma business. May how the sector is going on in India, and recently I've been very bullish on the microcap what you have posted. So your forensic team have done any analysis on this specific company? These are the two questions.
I'll miss out your second question because of some network thing. I'll return to your first question first. Uh, Cryptos, I personally think I don't, till the time the government approved. I'm very positive on blockchain as a technology. Whatever my understanding is there, I am not positive till the time any government involvement is there right now. I am not. My views are can be absolutely wrong also, but Now the government is talking about crypto, the rupee, or this is going to come down, and they've already lost. So this is where you see changes there right now. I don't think so. Anything else, I won't understand also, but my limited thing is like I would avoid anything which I don't understand. So my simple thing, till the time the government is not going to give power to issue money to someone else, or maybe till the time the government involvement is not there, no one is going to. It's a very fiduciary power which most of the governments hold right now, and they obviously they don't want to give it to or share it with any new technology. So that's my thought process. I may be wrong, Sai, but
Yes.
my knowledge is very limited in this subject.
Yeah, but whatever happens in US, it's definitely will happen in India moving forward, right? If we see the past also, so I think maybe in the next 2 3 years, if we can research now, there will be unprecedented opportunity. This is what I'm thinking. But thank you so much, Abhishek.
Fair enough. It may happen, but I would restrict my view on this subject.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Abhishek.
So I think almost all the speakers had asked their questions, and in want of time, we will be closing now, Abhishek. So thanks for taking out time and discussing across sectors and the market breadth. So anything to say on closing remarks, Abhishek?
Nothing. I My thing is very simple. We are in a very good space for if you take 2 3 years down the line, but markets be very selective while investing. That is there right now. I'm just giving an example right now. Uh, I've recently added some of the Chinese stocks in our portfolio, like the via Hang Seng Bees or those things right now. Nothing. Believe me, lot of when I talk to, like, I'd been to China just in December, and things are not as bad as what the media is saying, and what price what you are paying is important. So that's why I'm saying, when you do the contrarian bet, so you need to have a certain kind of contrarian things in your investments also. So that's why I'm saying money making is not going to be as easy what it was 10 11 month or last 1 year we had. So be very selective and do a lot of research while investing. Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much. Thanks, Abhishek. So, Abhishek, quickly we move to Amit. He has his hand raised, so maybe any question on his front. So, Amit, a small request, please make it quick as we are wrapping up. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you, Prince. No, just wanted to quickly tell regarding the crypto because I'm into crypto. So I just wanted to let you know, as of today, it is a speculative market. Yes, there's a BTC, spot Bitcoin ETF has come in USA for certainty. Adoption point of view, look at the utility point of view, and it is not still there. You once we start seeing a tokenization of the real world assets, take a look all the fintech what is happening in the Australia within different countries. Expect something in 2025, 2026. There will be big change, and investing in Bitcoin, it's your interest. It has no utility. We cannot create any smart contracts on BTC. It's just holding an asset against the inflation. It's a taking bet against dollar and euro. As you see, euro has lost 99% of the value based on what value Bitcoin usually has. But one keep an eye on the stable currencies, stable coins regulations, which is very, very important. The moment that comes, it will be scaled across the world. And the moment that comes up, you will see changes in CBDC playing role in this. And definitely India is moving towards that. Already you know that, which is happening very rapidly. We are far ahead than what US is because they're because of the elections, they're playing around with it. And Gary Gensler is one of the worst SEC chairman what we can have. That's my personal opinion. Don't take it from me. But India will play a major role. That's what I wanted to just let you know. But crypto has a crypto will be integrated. The reason I'm telling, because the blockchain integration, as you see, all our application towards now services after the WW boom, right now we are going from world wide web 3 concept, and we need to migrate towards that, and all other companies have taken steps towards that. Let it be IBM or let it be SDFC banks. You take Indian banks, fintech, you need to look into the fintech and track where exactly what is happening with all these things. Example, you saw Saudi sending more than 50 or more than 1 million, I don't know how much money, I forgot the number, but to China, right, using Xbridge. So they're already doing that concept from IMF to Bank of International Settlement. Everybody are involved in this, but Bitcoin will not be used in any of this because all the blockchain distributed ledger technology, the Reserve Bank of India, which is working, a CBDC comes. There's a one word comes into the picture: ISO 20022. That's basically how are we going to handle our accounting and settlement, like how we have in US DTCC. Trillions of dollar bonds will be tokenized. Look into that market, but not now. In next coming 10 years, if you invest now into the right coins, which actually holds value, you will benefit in next 10 years, but not now. As of now, crypto is a speculative. In India, they need to come up with strict rules and regulations, KYC, they're working on it, because all this global transactions with what is happening in with Russia and the way towards China is moving, nobody wants to use dollar. That's definite. Whatever you see now Mexico is actually discussion with BRICS. The moment that happens, they are the closest ally, from the global trade point of view, to US, and that will be a shock wave. And every damn people will be using CBDC and stable currencies, and cryptocurrency will come into the picture. As of today in India, as you know, as we have moved 99%, at least what I believe, what we're using phone pay and everything after coming to India, what I understand, we have gone cashless. That's a very big important point. After pandemic, we have gone cashless. We are not using cash. How many people are going to the ATMs? Take a look yourself, and consider this. The rail has to be, it's all about before a train starts, the rail has to be, and these banks needs to be connected, and the banks will not hold the actual money. It's a Reserve Bank of India or any central bank will issue the digital currency. For example, you see European Union, what they're doing, in UK, what they're doing, in Australia, Japan, in fact, by 2025 they have declared, one of the, SBI, not SBI of India, I'm talking SBI of Japan. Look at the statement of the CEO of Japan. He has given 2025. All the banks across Japan will be using digital assets to do the complete migration of their banks. So
So
this is what
this is what
just wanted to
I
put
just want to
points.
put
Thank you.
points. Thank you. So thank you for your inputs, Amit. And the amount of time will be closing today. And thank you again, Abhishek, for taking out time and taking queries from our attendees, and Ravi, and especially our co-host Vipinji. So definitely a great value addition and a very good spaces today. So those who are joining us for the first time, surely you can give a follow to our guest for today, Abhishek, and our co-host Vipinji, and even Raviji and others, those who are continuously catching with us, and try to bring the best of the questions and inputs around the equity market, and on which our guest also share their side of story. And as Abhishek has pointed out that going forward, you should not be expecting the same kind of returns which happened in last 1 year or so. So definitely the expectations has to be reasonable. On the other hand, there are always opportunities in the market, and you have to look for them. And definitely when it comes to following a process or framework and doing proper research of companies, be it through scuttlebutt or research reports, so that should not be missed. And again, whatever has been discussed in the spaces is purely educational, and the views shared by the guest and the speakers are individual. By no means we want to influence anyone. So purely educational. So you have to take all the ideas or names discussed from a educational point of view and as a starting point, as we always say. So yeah, with that note, I take everybody's leave. And if you are liking our work, so definitely we expect you connect with us so that we can have more like minded people as a community who can join us with great set of questions and definitely a very good community and virtuous circle wherein we learn from each other. Thank you so much. Good night. Take care. 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 Take care.